Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. We are going to be talking about Ready to Love. This is episode 4 and it's Miami White, the Miami White party, whatever you want to call it. But before we begin, housekeeping rules, guys. I'm back. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for everybody who watched the video last week. First thing first, please don't forget to like the video. That way it keeps the video in circulation. We always have to go through these housekeeping rules. One day I won't need to. More importantly, second of all, please drop a line. Tell me what you think about what's going on, about what I've said, about the episode. Let me hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And last but not the least, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. All right, here we go. So first thing first, this is it's the ladies week, which means the ladies are responsible for an elimination, and so they always start off the week at the top of the week. So it's the ladies lounge this week, and your nephew Uncle Tommy talking to them about what they need to do. His instructions are be bold and daring. This is Miami, because I'm not sure how much more bold and daring he wants them to be, but he said he wants them to be bold and daring. Therefore, he's now going to be throwing a party. It's not a bold party, but it's a party, and it's a white party, and so he wants them to be bold and daring. As an aside, I don't know if y'all noticed, and I don't know if it's just me just looking at it. I've just, for the, what's it, like 4th week running, the foundation of the ladies just seems to be off a little. I don't know if it's the lighting, I don't know if it's and I think the ladies do their own makeup, but somebody needs to tell them. It's becoming more and more consistent where the color seems off. The ladies on Rower, that's Real Housewives of Atlanta, their foundation typically doesn't look off. They look on point, and I guess they've got the experience of knowing their makeup artists know whatever it is. There needs to be some tweaking, because it really looks sad. You see these really gorgeous ladies, but what kind of shouts at me is the mismatch of the foundation color or something. It just doesn't look right. I don't know why I needed to bring that up, but it was on my heart. I had to bring it up. It just didn't seem, I don't know if it's a contouring, I don't know what it is, but it's just, when I'm looking at a beautiful woman, I shouldn't be looking at her like foundation like, is that her color? I should be saying, oh wow, that's a beautiful woman. Okay, I digress. Let's keep this. First date of the week is Randall and Kayla. They seem to have like a cute little chemistry, flirting, going back and forth. He's feeding her, she's making like these innuendos, and it's all fun and games. But I don't know if you all noticed that, like, Randall coming up to be like a little silent killer. Like, he looks like, one of the guys who would be like the chess club president, but like he making his way through. That's why they say don't judge a book by its cover, right? But anyway, they had a cute little date. But I was just like, oh, is that you, Randall? I saw you having this kind of chemistry with Trinika last week. Oh, now this week it's Kayla. Now what's going on here? Silent killer. So now we're talking about second date of the episode, Jamala and Justice. So they start talking, and first thing Justice says is like he's not a big dater, and he's not going to spend money to find out if he likes you. You see me looking back, I'm looking for a red flag. I just want to throw a red flag, like right here. Red flag, red flag, red flag, yo. Red card. Okay, and then you'd be like, Lola, so why'd you say red flag? Okay. First of all, why does he need to declare it? I'm not going to spend money on you to find out if I like you. Nobody asked you those questions. Like, it's completely unnecessary. Sometimes you can have some thoughts that you don't need to share. I'm just saying. 1. 2, friends hang out with each other and we spend money on each other. I spend money on my friends. You might take your friend out. Those are some friends, acquaintances. To make a declaration that I'm not going to spend money. You sit down with someone, you get talking. You see if there's a vibe. There's no, unless you are on income support, you need help, then it shouldn't be a need for you to declare that I'm not going to spend any money on you to get to know if I like you. That just it didn't sit well, particularly because he needs to declare it. It didn't sit well for me. All right, and thirdly, to me, it makes me think of, somebody thinking with scarcity mentality. Like, you don't have enough, so you're not going to share. And I'm not saying please take a strange woman out to a $400 dinner, buy her, champagne. I'm not saying that, but there's nothing wrong with sitting down with someone and paying for lunch. Whatever it is that you can afford. Instead of saying I'm not going to spend money on someone, just take the person to somewhere. something you can afford, because you know what, you put work in to get things you like. Nothing is going to fall into your lap. If it falls into your lap, please be scared and be very aware that's it might not be yours. So I don't know, I just took it some kind of way that he needed to declare it. On a date, he needed to declare it. So he's, in other words, telling us that the only way he's going to date a woman he doesn't know is if a game show such as Ready to Love is going to pay for the date. That way he gets free dates and just, free company. Yeah, you're not worth my time. I'm not saying you must spend money on me, but a lot of the time, with a lot of men, the bottom of their heart, they have a love affair with their money. And sometimes for them to show you how much they like you, they will now, spend some of that money to show that they care. They've invested. That's what's called investing. Like, if you don't invest in something, if you don't work for something, it means nothing to you. And you will play with it as such. You just kind of discard it anyway. So to me, it's like there must be some kind of investment of time, money, thought. Like, you must be intentional, and you can't be intentional without putting an investment forward. That's why you see all these things that people have you do, like coaches. They make you pay for it partly because you should be invested in it. And then last of all, a guy talks about, I don't believe in romance. Sis, a guy sits down with you and tells you he don't believe in romance. If you believe in romance, please run. Now, if you don't believe in romance, by all means, sit down and listen to what he has to say. But if you do, he's not going to change. If he's sitting down first thing first, and he's thrown out, he's warning you already. People tell you who they are. Believe them. He say he don't believe in romance, and for him, and then again, you need to ask have the person define what they mean by romance, because some things are common courtesy, and he might think that's being romantic. Like, if you pull out my chair, you think that's being romantic? Yo, dude, that's chivalry. You should be pulling out the chair for every lady in your presence. If you think opening the door is romantic, no, it's not. It's called courtesy, home training. So now he's gonna slam the door in your face because he say he's not romantic. Just be careful when people start throwing out, oh, what I don't do and I don't believe in these things. Please listen to them, or at least have them break it down further so you understand clearly what you're getting yourself into. Right now, Justice is a walking red flag. Hey, Justice. Okay, so Justice goes further to say that he doesn't want to be dating multiple women. Okay, fine. I don't know if that's what he's now trying to, scoot back and double back on what he said already. I understand you not wanting to date multiple women. That's fine. It can be a lot of work. But your delivery was really cocky. You sound really arrogant, very abrupt, like you can't articulate yourself well to communicate clearly. It just seems now you are just trying to clean it up. And then you say something about you wanting to be pursued. I'm not even going to go into it because you already know how I feel about it. All right, so the day of the white party has arrived. Apparently it's a whole day event, so it's going to start off with like a brunch, luncheon kind of thing. Everybody comes, regular clothes, and then later on in the evening they're meant to change into their white attire. Uncle Nephew Tommy and now his wife, Aunt Jacqui, she here now, she back. Like, she's been gone like a season or two and she back. Maybe they heard, because I don't know, she might bring some new energy, fresh energy to the show. So anyway, she's back. She's on the boat, they come through. Whoop-de-woo. Like, okay. So anyway, let's go back to the dating. So Randall seems to be doing what needs to be done. Like, he moving around. Next is sitting next to Jamala. I hope that's how to pronounce her name. And they seem to have like a nice little chemistry. So now, if we're looking at the scoreboard, it looks like for Randall right now, we have Jamala, we have Kayla, and I think we have Trinika. Right now, those are the people like he seems to at least put his stake on. Like, he's not trying to go home anytime soon. And I'm not mad at him because this is how you meant to play the game, right? But my dude, like, I see him walking up to Jamala, they have a nice little chemistry, and Kayla cutting a look. Like, yeah, I hope this doesn't come back to bite him. But he's playing the game exactly how it should be played. So our next couple of notes in this get together right before the the white party, Charisse comes up to Alonzo, like she's trying to mix and mingle, doesn't want to stick with one person, and then before she walks up to him or whatever, her thought about this guy is she thinks Alonzo's boring. I have no opinion about that. I guess she calls herself keeping it real, but I don't know, just the way I feel you can say you're not interested in someone without calling them boring. Boring's not complimentary, and I'm not saying you should lie, but you don't have to use all these terms, these straight cut judgmental terms. But anyway, so she goes down to sit with him, and they get talking. She wants to get to know who he is, and it opens up that he proposed to someone because of pressure the lady had put on him. I'll tell you right now, ladies, If there's a guy you're dating, you want to date, or whatever kind of situation you're in with them, if you have to pressure them to go to the next step, I don't, you know what, y'all tell me in the comments, have you had to pressure someone into a situation, and how is it working for you, or how did it work for you? Personally, I don't think it's worth it. Like, if I have to pressure you to declare me as your girlfriend, pressure me to declare me as your fiance, then it's not for me. I shouldn't have to pressure you. I might ask you, you know, what are we, who are, you know, but if I have to keep, you know, nudging you like you're a kid not paying attention in class, I don't want to. I don't think it's necessary. If I have to, you know, if you don't have a wake-up call after a conversation or discussion, it's not my place to nudge you. So, and I say this, I start off saying this to say, he says that, you know, the person who was with her at that time, they were together 7 years, and she's like, you know, what are we? I'm just giving you my little 2 cents. What are we? Where are we going with this? You know, I want to be married. And he gives into the pressure and purchases a ring. Now, his side of the story, the following day, he realized that he didn't want to be in that situation, and after 24 hours, collected his ring. Now, I'm sure the story has some more deets to it, but it's not our business. But I just say this to say that if you think or you need to pressure someone into doing something that you desire, and they can't just see that or want to be that with you, then maybe it's not meant to be. But I would love to hear somebody else's input. In my personal opinion, and what I visualized and what I've observed, if you have to do all that pushing and shoving to be acknowledged by your partner, then you guys are not on the same boat. You might just might walk away. Think about it. You know, remember what's his name, Prince William, you know, England, the prince, and his now wife, her name escapes me right now, but of course they've been dating for a while. You know, I think they met in school, and then for a period of time he broke up with her. She didn't skip a beat. She was out, not out like, you know, hoeing up, whooping it up, but she was out just socializing. She didn't skip a beat. The guy came running. She didn't pressure him, nothing. He just thought, because sometimes some people need a second to, you know, maybe get that feeling of what, you know, when you lose something, like, oh, you know what, I really want this. Sometimes some people need that. She didn't come begging. She didn't come. He came for her. When he saw her out and about, within a few weeks of that breakup, he was back, and shortly after that he proposed. So you shouldn't need to pressure someone to do anything. If they can't meet you where you are, no hard feelings, just walk away. Because I wouldn't want to be pressured. I think that's how I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't want to be pressured. If I need a minute to think, give me a minute to think. That's so, yeah, that story kind of emphasizes that for me. Is this prior proposal a red flag? And the truth is, I think everyone comes to you with a past. It's how they deliver the information and what they've learned from those experiences that, to me, that determine if they're a yay or a nay. Him having a prior proposal, having that kind of situation is not a red flag until we've had a discussion. Like, what did he come away with? What has he learned? So he's not gonna, you know, find himself in that situation again. Just that occurring is not a red flag, because we continue to grow. Experiences come to us and we learn from them. Did he get lessons from that so he doesn't make the same mistake twice? So I think that's where Cherie says, I'll give her that. She's like, okay, yeah, he was honest with me, although we don't really know the story, but at least he kind of broke it down to some certain extent to declare that, okay, he got from it. He realized that the pressure wasn't going to work and he didn't want it. But the question too is, you know, my G, like, you were there for 7 years. You keep hearing people use these, you know, with these fancy terms, and one of them is placeholder. Like, you kept the woman in place for 7 years, but you knew you didn't want to marry her. That's something, ladies, you have to think about. Like, don't wait 7 years to find out if the dude you're with wants to take the relationship further. Please know up front. Like, I'm not saying ask him the first day you meet, but you need to, first of all, you need to know, past the dating stage, you're now a couple. You need to know, like, what are his intentions? Does he want to be a couple? Does he want to be in a couple? Does he want to be the other half of a couple? Things don't always work out, but what are his intentions up front? Is he just looking to play? Because if you're not looking to play, you might want to walk away. Next, you're a couple now. If you're a certain age and he's a certain age, and you feel like you want more than just to be a couple, you want a relationship leading to marriage, to result in children and putting your assets together, then you need to have these conversations soon. So you need to know where his head is at. You have that conversation, and he's not quite saying yes, he's not saying no. My G, you year in and he doesn't know, then it's not for you. Yeah, I don't think you need to sit like 4 years before you find out. He should know in 2 years or less. 2 years, I'm really giving you generous time. He should know before then. And if you're 15, maybe not. But if you're in your mid-20s, 30s, you don't need 4 years to figure out if you want to be with that person or not. I'm just saying. Okay, so Charisse moves on. She sees Mike somewhere, and I'm happy that they decide to readdress whatever the beef, and she brings it up like she wanted to rehash and figure it out, like they just didn't end well. And I think it's a good idea. Why? Because if you don't kind of settle the ground every time you see that person, there will be some discomfort, just to be on some uncomfortable, some tension in the air. So I'm happy that she brought it up. I like that he apologized. I'm just not particularly clear about how he apologized. I'm sorry if what I said or did, not if. Like, if you don't, like, my dude, like, you know, you came for her. Look, she came for you, but you came for her. Mutually came for each other. So the if, you know exactly what you said to upset her, because you're retaliating, because you were triggered by her calling your kids baggage. So you could have said, I'm sorry for saying this. He did eventually say, you know what, I was a little in my feelings, I was emotional. He did confess that, but I'm sorry if is never if you say I'm sorry if, forget everything. It's not an apology. It's just, you know, just trying to save face. So I don't know, but he did give like an explanation later that, yeah, it was, you know, it was in his feelings. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not taking it. I'm sorry from anybody. I'm not taking it, but I don't think it. I won't consider it a sincere apology, because I think at a certain age we all know how to apologize. I apologize for what I said. Boom. You don't even have to go into details, because you know. Now if the person's now nudging, like, what did we say? Like, okay, lady, we ain't that close, we ain't that good, we're not in a relationship. I don't have to sit down and start breaking everything down. You can just say, I apologize for what I said. I think that would be enough. And if you're sincere, it will come through. You don't need to start, I apologize if I said, I did, you're doing too much, and maybe you don't mean it. So later on, I don't remember who was at the table. I want to say one of the people was Kadian, and maybe the other person was, I don't remember who the other person was, sitting with Mike. I don't remember her name, but anyway, they get talking, and Shakira's at the other end. She feels a little uncomfortable with the conversation and wants to get up. And then Kadian, she's talking about, oh, well, you know, you, based on your past, I guess this could be triggering for you. What? She just don't want to be in any part of mess. She don't want to be a part of the conversation. She's like, she don't have energy to waste on stress or mess. I get it, Shakira. But I don't know. And then of course, you know, her saying that, immediately Shakira took offense to that. Like, I guess she felt like Kadian was weaponizing the hurt and pain she had, you know, articulated in their last, I want to say, the ladies' lounge last week, where she had kind of talked about what she'd been through, what her son had been exposed to, and so she was very careful about just keeping certain energy around her son. So she just wanted to excuse herself. I didn't really see the correlation. And of course, Kadian bringing it up. Now, do I think Kadian was intentionally trying to weaponize Shakira's prior disclosure? I don't think so. I think Kadian is someone who speaks without thinking sometimes, doesn't really edit herself. She has nothing and just blurted it out. I don't think so. At least right now. I don't know her that well, but it seemed to happen quickly. I don't know her yet. We might find out she really was trying to weaponize the girl's pain or make her look crazy in front of Mike. I don't know. But at these early days, I don't think Kadian was trying to weaponize the lady's, you know, past experience. Or did she try and weaponize it? Because now all of a sudden she's chummy with Mike. Like, they called themselves like all kind of things last week. Like, he called her uptight. She called him a nerd, introvert. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's true, but like I said, it's still early days yet. We don't know who's who. Because sometimes people could just be performing for the camera. They just want to be memorable because they know they're not going to get anything else outside the show other than some viewers remembering who they are. Now, in the midst of all this, we notice that Kayla can see, or she's watching Randall mix and mingle, and I think particularly with Jamala, she noticed that. Dating 101, particularly for this show, like. Dating more than one person is not a ridiculous thing to imagine, both on this show and in real life, because it's cold out there. Things are rough out there. So you put your eggs all in one basket, you might get yourself burnt. So I don't think there's an issue with that. So I think first thing first, you know, Kayla bringing up the fact, because she sits down with Randall later on and she's talking about, I saw you with Jamala and you were doing this and you're doing that. Yes, it's like it's not giving off the right energy, because already he's thinking like, is she jealous, is she this, is she that? Sis, you just worry about you and your connections, and make sure it's not just one person you're connecting with, period. That's it. That's all I have to say. Like, this is season 6 or 7. By now, we should know how to play the game. It's not how to play the game. You might feel a little twinge. It's human nature. Like, that might be somebody you're really into and you thought you guys had a really nice connection. But he's doing exactly what he should be doing, Kayla. He's meant to mix and mingle until it gets towards the end. He can't narrow down and zero in onto one person. Makes no sense. Which leads us into the next couple, Swayze and Kadian. Swayze's doing, and he even admits it. Like, Swayze's worried that, you know what, I might be narrowing down too much and it might bite me in the butt. It just might, Swayze. It just might. So there you go. Randall's doing what he should be doing. Swayze knows what he should be doing, but just not really bothered to do that. I'm not mad at that either. Like, maybe he's ready to go home already. So maybe Kayla gets the message. So Kayla's now sitting down with Mike, and Mike seems to be interested in Kayla, even from the last date when he was sitting with April at the, I think it was the Acrobat, thing they had going on, where he was trying to talk with her, and that's when April came in. So again, he tries to revisit and have a conversation with Kayla. Thing is, Mike looks really interested in her, and at this point, the question now is does Kayla feel him the way he feels her? Because it looks like he feels her. And I love the way at one point where he's gushing about his son, how smart his son is, and that for the right woman would really appreciate that. I don't know if Kayla's that one, because she didn't look interested at all. And to one of my favorite scenes of the night. I hate to claim favorites so early, but I'm watching, I'm watching Samson. Now, Samson's a coach. I got my eye out, because I don't know how I feel about it, because sometimes coaches be trying to coach you and I'm not trying to be your client. I'm not your client. Like, don't try and coach me. Like, sometimes, like, yeah, when you're too woke, sometimes it can be a little, like you're preaching. You sound preachy all the time if you're always like coaching in the midst of just a regular social situation. So I'm going to reserve my comment, but he's fast entering like, okay, because he knows how to say the right things. Isn't he one that said last week, because I said I was going to keep it, he's like brains before Botox. See, like, he come up again with another one that he's interested in, one with a story. God. Yeah, he's speaking to me, and it makes sense. And then he goes on to even extrapolate that, and typically a woman with a story a lot of times are sisters. This guy, yeah, give me lines, raps. And that's what he wants, and it makes sense. And why do I think it makes sense? I feel like when someone's been through something, and I can only, based on how I build it, but if you've been through something, the hope is that you've got lessons. Now, I'm saying hope because I haven't gotten to know this person yet, but the assumption or hope is that when you've been through something, you come out with lessons. When you got those lessons, there'll be a seasoned air about you, an experienced air about you. You'll be less judgmental and more open to explore and understand where people are coming from, because you've seen it, been it, you got the t-shirt, been there, seen there, done that. And that opens you up to see stuff when you can see right off, like, okay, am I going to give that person 5 minutes to redeem themselves, or is it just not going to work? Like, you can see stuff a little clearer. So I love that he's not looking for, the next, fancy little, piece of silverware. He's looking for someone who's got some substance, because I really think that life experiences, when you've been through something, it really builds you up and builds substance. All right, Samson, fast becoming my faves. I hate to declare all that early, but it's not even based on how he looks, but just how he seems to be moving, how he seems to be thinking. Now, I don't know, it seems like that's with Charisse. I don't know how I feel about that. I love to see it with, Shakira is one of my favorites in terms of a lady. I love to see that kind of energy with Shakira. We'll see, because so far Charisse kind of started off wrong, but I'm ready to, give her room to grow. Maybe we read her wrong. We're all three-dimensional. Now, Randall is now with Shakira, and Shakira, like, low-key told him, like, if you're not serious, like, just keep it moving. Like, I don't have time. You call me once, boom. So I don't know if Randall is now doing too much, or is he still kind of playing within the confines of how this game should be played? So I'm like right at the, the borderline. Is this too much, or is Randall still playing the game right? Because now he's doing too much. And she said as much as, like, look, I'm not here to chase you. Like, if you're not really interested, just let me go. Please don't waste my time. Like, she looked like, I'm warning you, you don't want to see the other side of me. I don't see Shakira and Randall, because Shakira, there's a depth to her that a certain type of person will be drawn to. Like, if you're serious and you have that depth and you understand it. But if you're not in that place in your life, or you haven't been through some things, you can't appreciate that depth. which is why I feel like Samson can really appreciate Shakira's depth. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? But let's see, it's still early days yet. So all of a sudden, Mr. Justice, yeah, say he leaving, he got something, event, something. Justice carried his little shirt and left after he said bye to Jamala. No skin off anybody's back. I don't think anybody missed anything. It seems like in the beginning, the very first episode, Justice was the thing, the hot thing. But quickly, it seems quickly, now let me know if I'm wrong. Quickly, no one really cares. Because the truth is, only Jamala knew that he was leaving. Which means he didn't have any kind of connect with anybody else. Nobody else knew he was leaving. Huh, interesting. People on chopping block are Alonzo. Understandably so. Looks like the person who was his main run at the time, Kaden, is no longer interested in him. LJ, now I'm surprised by LJ because LJ seems to be like, you know, cool, calm, collected. Well, I know he has a connection with Looney, but it appears maybe nobody else. And then of course Mr. Justice. So on chopping block, but he ain't around. And this is how I feel about that, because it kind of, the episode came to a close here. Like, if they don't chop off Justice, then it's just because I don't think Alonzo should go. Yeah, I feel he needs to, there should be a little more time for him to get into like more people. There's more substance to him. LJ, there's substance to him. Justice, I just don't see it. Yeah, like they need to let Justice know what's up. Like, let's see how they play it. I'm gonna give them the side eye. Like, if Justice don't go home next week, just based on the fact that he left early, like he knows that it is the week where they have eliminations, but he's either that confident or he ready to go home, so he decides to just do his own thing. If they don't send Justice home next week, he's about to show you people how a little kid can misbehave, because that means he'll feel like he can do anything he wants. Because he left, you know, elimination week or the day before eliminations and still didn't get chopped off. Like, if you guys don't send this guy home next week, he gonna show you something that you never believe. But guys, this is the end of this episode already, and next week looking like it's beefing up, but here we are. And I apologize the video's late. I was, you know, at a wedding this weekend, but I still wanted to get this video to y'all. But anyway guys, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Lola over and out. Y'all have a good weekend.